Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be watching some of the worst date story times from TikTok. Please make sure to follow all the creators. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and share. Now let's get into these dating horror stories.
I just had the worst, most awkward, terrible Tinder date of my life. And I just need to talk about it real quick because this is insane. So I started talking to this guy literally today. We matched on Tinder today and he was messaging me and was pretty adamant. I didn't answer him at first and then he messaged me again. So I was like, whatever, I'll give him a chance. Sure. So he's messaging me and basically is like, oh, add me on Snapchat. I deleted my Snapchat and my Instagram. Long story, but I basically was like, oh, I don't have Snapchat. You can text me. So I gave him my number and he starts texting me. And basically off the bat, he's like, I really want to see you. What are you doing later? Let's go to the movies. Let's go on a date. And he seemed so nice. He was so cute. On his Tinder bio, it said he was in finance. He's 6 feet. He had a bunch of pictures. He was verified, so real person. I was like, okay, sure, let's go on a date. And he sent me the movie and everything. And basically, I was like, yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. And he was awesome. Bought the tickets. I'll see you tonight. Blah blah. And then we're planning out when we wanted to meet, if we wanted to meet prior, all this stuff. We talked all day basically. And so it finally came to before we were going. And he tells me that his car is in the shop and he has to Uber. And it would be really nice if I wanted to pick him up. Instant fucking red flag. I should have just ran then. Don't know why I didn't. I was already in deep enough. I was just yeah, no, we should just meet there, just Uber. So he's fine with that, whatever. So he Ubers there, I'm driving, and he gets there a few minutes before me. So I call him when I pull in. I'm like, hey, I just got here. We got there an hour early because we wanted to meet up and talk and stuff before. I wanted to get to know him, because when you're at a movie, you can't talk and get to know the person. I'm so stupid for all of this. In hindsight, I see this now. Anyway, I call him. I'm like, oh, do you want to come in my car and we can hang out in here and talk before the movie or whatever? And he's like, yeah, sure. I'll come out, just park wherever. Thank God I park literally right front and center, under the lights. There's people outside. There's people in their cars. So I'm parked right front and center. He gets in my car. And all is fine, and we're talking, whatever. And I basically had to tell him. So before I left my house, I realized I had a cold sore on my lip, whatever. A lot of people get them. I've gotten them ever since I was a little kid. I don't know, but I know they're contagious, and I know it's basically herpes or whatever. So I had to tell him. And it was the worst thing to have to tell someone on a first date. And I was so nervous. I was so scared. And I'm like, if you want to leave now, if you're all set, I get it, don't worry. I was like, I swear I don't have any other diseases. This is it. I have a cold sore and I have to tell you, because yeah, if we kiss, obviously we can't. And he's laughing. He's like, you're so cute. He's like, no, I don't care. I actually just got over one myself. It's fine. I want to kiss you. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, your choice, And he's like, can I kiss you? And I was like, sure. Mind you, we literally were only talking for 5 minutes, not even. Anyways, he starts kissing me, keeps kissing me, and grabs my leg, and I'm like, oh God, okay, this is not not what I imagined. So I kind of pull away. I started a different conversation. We started talking. He's just acting really weird. He was kind of annoyed that I pulled out of the kiss. And so I asked him, oh, what happened to your car? Why is it in the shop? And he starts being so weird and moving around. He's like, yeah, actually, it's really embarrassing. I lost my license on the 4th of July. I got a DUI, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, okay, this guy already lied to me about something like this. Like, this is just, I already have awful vibes about this. Anyways, we get over that, and he just keeps like wanting to make out and like kiss, and I'm like I just feel like I have to, like, it was a really awkward situation. And then he starts grabbing my hand and putting it, I'm sure you can guess where, and I basically had to pull away and like tell him, like, I just want to like get this out of the way now. I'm not trying to do all that, you know, like, no. And his whole demeanor changed. He completely changes, and he's basically tells me like that's all he wanted, like that's why he came tonight, that's why he did all this, because he was expecting that. And I like had to tell him no, like, sorry. And before this too, he was telling me that I should move parking spots or whatever, and I wouldn't. And even after me telling him that I'm not doing all that, he still kept trying to get me to move my car to like the back of the theater where it's like completely dark, and he's just acting really off and really weird. And instantly I'm just getting like awful vibes. Like, I'm just like, and then he starts like gaslighting me, telling me that I led him on. Huh? Like, I'm so sorry for agreeing to go to the movies with you and I wouldn't pick you up. Like, I didn't even argue with him, because I'm like, if I get this man angry, like, who knows what's gonna happen. I mean, thank God I'm right in front of the theater under the lights and like there's people around, so. But he was like making jokes too, because like I had a nice car. He's like, because I kept saying like, oh, like, I hope you don't kill me, like, I hope you're not a murderer. And he's like, yeah, I could like literally kill you right now and like take your car, like, you have a nice car, blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't know, maybe it was just jokes, like, because I was joking about it, but felt really off to me. And you could tell he was like really pissed off that and he kept trying to get me to like want to do stuff with him, and like he was like, oh, like, maybe we can still go see the movie. Mind you, I did check before I went, and we would have been the only two people in that movie. Like, I had awful vibes. I was like, no. I'm like, I don't want to waste your time. Like, your time's valuable. And he's like sulking. He's like, my time's not valuable. Like, I'm like, okay, you clearly are a psychopath, and you clearly have no self-esteem, and you probably will just kill me. Like, I don't even know if I can post this, because I can't say all this stuff. Whatever, I'm posting it. But yeah, so basically I started crying and was just trying to make him feel as bad as possible, because I'm like, I don't want this guy to kill me right now. Like, he was being really weird. Like, there's so much I could explain, but I had so many red flags. Thank God I had my like smarts about me, and whatever, like, this could have ended so much worse. He basically was like, oh, like, will you at least wait for me, like, my Uber to get here? And I was like, yeah, like, sure, like, I'm not gonna like piss you off anymore. Like, his Uber got there, and like, whatever, he's gone. I'm low-key kind of scared. I'm like, is there a tracker in my car? Is there something? Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna pray all is fine, I'm okay. But if I wake up dead tomorrow, y'all know what happened. But I shouldn't even joke like that. But anyway, I'm never going on another date again, and that's just that. Sorry, he ruined it for everyone. Okay, good night, bye. I'm happy to be alive.
I'm so sorry that I kept you guys waiting, but I seriously was living the situation up until a couple of hours ago. Quick recap, I went out with a guy that I matched with on Hinge on Saturday night, and it ended up going absolutely terrible. So it's me and my friend. He tells us to show up to his Airbnb at a certain time to pregame with like all the rest of his friends. Right when we get there, off the bat, the vibes are off. There's like 3 other girls there. They're getting ready. I introduce myself. Like I walk up the stairs and I'm like, hi guys, like I'm Winnie, nice to meet you, because I'm not the bitch that's not about to say hi. When they said hi, it was just like very cold, very annoying. And the Hinge match kept saying like, God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm sorry that I had to bring you guys into this vibe. Let's go up to the roof and just like drink there. But we go up to the rooftop. He's chatting about how it's his birthday, how he had rented this Airbnb and how they were being absolutely terrible. Like they didn't care that it was his birthday. They didn't want to go to any of the places that he wanted to go. And I felt really bad. So me and my friend, we were like, look, just hang out with us. Like, we're going to go out, we're going to have a good time, and we're going to celebrate your birthday. I did start to notice, though, that he was starting to pay more attention to my friend, like ask her more questions and just be a little bit more intrigued in her life. It's not really important to the story, but I just wanted to give you guys, like, the vibes. So it's me, my friend, Hinge guy, his friend. He really wanted to go to this club called Havana, so it's his birthday. We're like, you know, we're gonna do whatever you want to do. His friend calls the Uber, we go down from the roof and we leave and we get in the Uber. The moment we get out of the Uber, I realize that I didn't have my purse. So I'm looking around for my purse. I'm looking at them. I'm like, guys, I don't have my purse. The Uber is driven away. Can you try messaging the Uber? I'm talking to his friend at this point because his friend's the one that called the Uber. Like, can you try messaging him and asking him if the purse is in there? He's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. But chances are your purse is probably in the house. You probably left it there or you probably left it on the rooftop. I was like, you know what? You know, at this point I was a little bit tipsy. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, probably, honestly, it's probably there. So like, no big deal. I also really did not want to ruin this man's birthday and make it about myself. So I was kind of just like, okay, like hopefully it's at the house. It probably is. And then we can just have a good night. We're at Havana. We're having a good time. I kind of noticed that like at this point that he's like really interested in my friend. So I'm starting to just get like turned off. I'm like, okay, like whatever, you know, it is what it is. After a couple hours, we were lit. We were like, let's head back to the Airbnb. And here's where shit got stressful because it escalated so fast. The moment we get back to his Airbnb, he's like, shh, shh, be quiet. You have to be quiet. The girls are sleeping. Like, don't say a peep. Like, don't say a word. He's not even letting us stay in the house. He's literally saying, go back up to the roof where it's cold as hell. We were drinking. He's like, shh, shh, every little thing we say, if we giggle, if we talk, he would be like, shh, shh, shh. Meanwhile, we weren't even being loud. Like we were trying to be as respectful as we possibly could be. But it was the fact that every little noise we made, this man was like, guys, you guys are being too loud. It was like, honestly, it just gave me, like, it gave me the ick. Like, we get up to the roof, we're talking, we're telling him like how cold we are and how we want to go back inside. And so he's like, fine, like, let's go downstairs. I'm thinking he's going to take us to the kitchen. No, he takes us down one flight of stairs because there's 3 flights of stairs in this condo. It's like layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 rooftop. He takes us down the first flight of stairs and like pushes us into his room and locks the door and like closes the door. It was at this moment that I remembered that I still hadn't found or looked for my purse. So I tell him, I'm like, oh my God, I completely forgot to look for my purse. Have you talked to the Uber? I look at his friend and I'm like, hey, have you talked to the Uber driver? Have you heard anything? He's like, no, I haven't heard anything. I'm like, can I go and like look in your kitchen? Maybe I left it on the roof. He looks me dead in my eye and is like, shh, shh, no, you can't, no. I'm looking at him in shock and disbelief. I'm like, what do you mean no? I need to find my purse. My keys to my home are in there and the keys to my car are in there. If I don't find them, like I'm literally stuck. He proceeds to tell me again, no, I'm sorry, but you can't go look. By this point, his friend had left the room and disappeared. It'd been like 20 or 30 minutes now. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, well, can we try to contact the Uber? Like, can we please do something? Because us just sitting here and you guys just staring at me is stressing me out. Like I'm getting nervous. Like I need to find my shit. At this point, I'm starting to cry. Him and my friend are sitting on the bed. I'm like scooched into a corner, like balled up, crying. Him and my friend are looking at me like I'm fucking insane. I am pleading with this man to please let me go check the roof. Let me go check the kitchen. Like let me just leave this room. And he's still saying no. At this point, I don't feel like my friend is supporting me at all and it's 2 against 1 and I'm feeling very, very ganged up on. So I'm like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the bathroom because there was a bathroom attached to the room. I'm like, and you guys can sit here and I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'm gonna call Corey, my baby daddy. I go into the bathroom because talking to them is not helping. I am still drunk, and I'm trying my hardest to still be respectful to this man. So I go into the bathroom, I call Corey crying. Corey is like stressed out. He's like, what's going on? What's happening? I'm telling him what's happening. I'm like, I'm trying to tell them I need to find my keys. I need to find my my car keys, you know, and my house keys because I can't get into my house. Like I'm explaining this to Corey. Corey's like, I don't understand. Like, what's the issue? Like, why can't you look for your shit? And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, no one's listening to me, dude. Not even my friend. Like, she wasn't even listening to me. Yes, I was intoxicated, but at the same time, like, I was still very much aware that I needed to find my shit. My friend whips open the bathroom door and she's like, we can hear you talking out here. Like, we can hear you talking shit. And I'm like, okay, but you guys are not helping me. So I had to call Corey to be like, hey, come help me because they're not helping me. I felt like no one was listening to me. It was giving like angry black women freaking out for no reason. At that point, I was really mad at my friend. I had cussed her out because I was like, leave me alone. She ends up storming off. I think she ends up like leaving the room and she's like, fuck it, I'm out of here. She storms off. She leaves. I'm sitting there like crying to Corey, like, hey, like, what do I do? I'm still begging this man, like, can I please just go check? Like, let me just go look. He's still saying no. About 5 minutes later, my friend tries to call me and tells me like, let's go. I called the Uber and I'm sitting here like, no, I already called my child's father. I don't want to hop in the car with you and just be screaming at each other. Like, I'm not arguing with you about this. Like, I'm not doing it. So I completely was like, you go. So she ends up leaving. And another reason why I didn't want to leave is because I still didn't have my shit, right? Like, they didn't even live in Georgia. The moment I would have left, I would have never heard from them again. So I'm talking to the Hinge guy. It's just me and him at this point. And I'm like, can you go ask your friend if the Uber driver has said anything? Like, give me the Uber driver's number. Like, I will go, but like, I need some connection so that I can try to get my purse back. He's screaming back at me like, why are you blaming us? Like, we didn't do anything. He's talking about him and my friend. He's like, we didn't do anything and you're getting mad at us. And I'm sitting here like, I'm not getting mad at you guys. I am just like asking for empathy. Like, help me find my bag. Like, actually care at the fact that I lost my shit. I do take responsibility for losing my shit. That's all on me, but I'm just asking for you to maybe care? Like, what? I really did try to fit this whole story into 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to go to part 2. This is part 2 of me meeting up with a guy on Hinge and it going terribly wrong. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, please go back and watch it. It will be the video right before this one. At this point, I am still bawling and crying to this man, and some other guy, some random guy that hasn't been there the entire night shows up and he's like, you gotta go. Like, you need to leave. I'm like, listen, I'm trying to explain to him. I'm like, I just need my purse. Like, my car is out there. It's parked in front of an abandoned house. It's a little bit ghetto. I can't leave my car here. I can't get into my home. I have nowhere to go. Can you please just like talk to the guy who ordered the Uber or help me find my damn purse? Hinge guy and his friend are like, no, you gotta go. You gotta get out. They are pushing me down like the stairs. Like, both of them are like, you gotta go. You gotta go now. Corey's still on the phone. This entire time, I had still stayed respectful. Like, I still wasn't screaming. I still wasn't loud. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. At that point, knowing that my shit was about to be lost to the void, I was fucking livid. I look straight at Hinge guy and I'm like, God is gonna see this. Like, the karma that you're gonna get for doing this when all you have to do was help me find my purse or let me look in your house. Like, you're gonna, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs at this point because I'm livid. I'm like, dude, have some empathy, like compassion, something. You could literally see the fear on this man's face. He was like, I didn't do anything. Like, you know, it's not my fault you lost your purse. And it's like, it's literally not about that. It's the fact that you won't even help me find it. At this point, I'm not explaining this to him. I'm just like popping off. Because at this point, they had kicked me out on the doorstep and had closed the door. I am bawling to Corey at this point because losing your keys and losing your house keys is like it's such a traumatic experience. I can't even explain it. It's happened to me. It's happened to me once before and it's like the worst feeling ever. Corey took about an hour to get there because he lives a little bit further from Atlanta than I do. But in between that time, I ended up calling the non-emergency line and they ended up coming out and knocking on the door and literally were like, well, if they don't answer, there's literally nothing we can do. Corey picks me up, which for those of you guys who don't know, Corey is my child's father. He picks me up. He's being super nice to me. He's being super optimistic. He's like telling me like, it's going to be okay. You're just drinking right now. So it's like, everything's super heightened. It's going to be fine. But trust me, like, I felt like such an idiot. Like, I felt like such a failure. I was like, oh my God, I literally can't even get into my own house. He ends up dropping me off at my sister's house and I end up sleeping on her couch that night. But I was so mad. Like, I was still so angry. I literally sent that man a voice note and I was like, I I'm not proud of this, but I was mad, okay? I was like, listen, my dad is Ghanaian, I'm African, like, I'm gonna put a hex on you, like, you're gonna wish you never, you're gonna rue the day. At this point, he had unmatched me on everything. He had blocked me on Instagram. I had to just take the L and move on and admit that I fucked up. The next day, I literally had to go back to the location. I had to hire a locksmith to get a new car key made. Corey helped me get into my house, change my locks, and then, after all of that was done, I get a text message from Hinge guy. He sends me a message and he's like, good news, the Uber driver has your purse. He told me that I have to pay $80 for him to bring it back. So just letting you know that you can come pick it up as soon as I get home. Can't tell you guys how happy I was that my purse was found. He sent that text message and then ghosted me for like 5 hours. By the time that he replied back, it was 11 o'clock at night, and he was like, my bad, I was out, but it's at my house if you want to come pick it up. Well, I'm with my son at that point, so like, no, I can't come pick it up, but I'll come pick it up in the morning. He's like, all right, bet, come before 9:30 a.m. So a couple of hours ago, I drove back to the location in Atlanta, and I picked up my purse. My Shayla. My Shayla. I'm so happy to see this thing. And everything was in it. I'd already canceled my cards and everything. But I'm so happy. Now I have an extra key. Like, and when I got there to pick it up, he kept saying that he did his good deed. And that, like, he's like, I don't know why you were blaming me, but, like, just letting you know, like, I had to pay $80 to get that back here. Like, I've done my good deed. And I'm literally sitting here thinking that he's probably stressed out and thinks that I'm really gonna put a damn hex on him, because the way he was acting was like, he was afraid of me. Anyway, I didn't even argue with him. I grabbed my purse. I got out of there. Honestly, don't know what I would have done without my baby daddy, without Corey. So huge shout out to that man. Anyway, I will not be doing this again anytime soon. A lot of you guys were asking what happened to my friend in the last video. Supposedly, she had called the Uber and then went back to my place because that's where her car was parked. The next day, she ended up reaching out to my son because she was trying to get in touch with Corey. I genuinely don't know why she didn't call me, but I ended up calling her. We had a conversation. I did not get an apology. In fact, it was kind of still the vibe of you were being absolutely insane. So that was that. She still has some things at my house that she needs to pick up that she left that night. So I'm keeping the peace until then. But after that, nah, I'm done. Like, I'm literally done. I can't lie to y'all. Like, I am really sad about this. She's someone that I did call a friend. I've known her for a very, very long time. So it does hurt my feelings, and it does make me feel like shit that I trusted this person and they kind of just didn't care about me. And I think another reason why I'm so upset is because I have been such a supportive friend. Whenever, you know, she vents or she tells me certain things, I listen, I console her. And it's like the one time that I really needed her, she literally couldn't even be there for me. I feel like I'm also in a scarcity mindset. Like, it's hard to make friends at my age. It's hard to make friends at any time. I feel like I'm just not, you know, like I'm not gonna be able to make more friends or replace my friends. So I'm just feeling a little bit like, I don't know, sad. Also, a couple of other things I noticed that people were talking about, and some people were being like, I would have fought my way out the room, I would have screamed. When someone's already looking at you like they're afraid of you, like you're literally Medusa, the last thing I'm gonna do is try fighting him and his friends, which there was a lot of his friends, okay? The purse isn't worth it at that point. And I could read the room. That was not the right thing to do, especially being intoxicated. Oh, another thing, I also did not consider that a date at all. I was more of like going to just say fuck it and YOLO. Didn't consider that to turn into anything. Also saw a lot of comments and people were being like, I would have called the police and said they were trying to steal my stuff. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. They showed up, they knocked on the door. The police officer looked me dead in the eye and was like, if they don't answer, there's nothing we can do. And he drove the fuck off in his cop car. There is something in my gut that is telling me that the purse was there the entire time. And I also believe that the hex that I threatened him with worked. It's a new year. I am still staying positive. You know, it's only up and on from here. All right, bye. Love ya.
Get ready with me while I talk about the time that a man tried to rope me into a evil scheme that he had planned on his ex AKA the second worst date I've ever been on. And as always, I want you guys to be getting ready with me, so bookmark this video if you have to. If you don't have to just get ready, you can garden, you can take a shit, you can do the dishes, you can literally do whatever you want, but we're on FaceTime. If you FaceTime me before, then you'll know that in the past I was a bit of a Tinder warrior. Didn't meet this guy on Tinder. I'm pretty sure I met him on Bumble. That's almost worse. This guy was like not my usual type, but I don't know. I was like bored and lonely and like stupid. And I remember like he asked me like literally within a day of speaking to me to hang out. And I was like, no, because why would you ask me that? But the next day he was like, are you free today? And I was also bored and lonely that day too. So I was like, why not? Mind you, like we hadn't really texted that much. I mean, nothing that was that like deep or serious. Like I think the only thing that he really knew about me was like how old I was and like where I was from. Like we weren't texting all day or anything. So this is something that I have actually like, this is the only time I've ever done this. Like hung out with somebody and like barely talked to them. This is kind of how I learned this lesson. But he asked me, he's like, okay, like when do you want to hang out? I was like, probably later in the day. He's like, okay, I'll pick you up at 5. I'm like, okay, cool. He lived like kind of far from where I live. So like at 4:30, I was expecting that he would text me and be like, okay, like I'm about to leave. But he didn't. He actually didn't even ask for my address. So I texted him. I'm like, hey, do you need my address? Because he insisted on picking me up. And he's like, oh, yeah, probably, right? And I'm like, yeah. So I give it to him. He's like, all right, I'm about to leave in like 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know why you said you were going to pick me up at 5 if you're going to leave in 20 minutes, but okay. So 20 minutes goes by, nothing. 40 minutes goes by, nothing. Now at this point, an hour and a half has passed with no word from this man. So I text him again and I'm like, yo, are you still coming to pick me up? He does not answer me. And I'm at this point, like, I've kind of just accepted my fate. I'm like, okay, I just got stood up by a bum. Like, that's humbling. That's a really humbling experience. But then, I don't know, like, another, like, 25 minutes goes by, and he texts me back, and he's like, yo, like, my bad, like, my mom was pissed off that I was taking the car. Like, she's letting me take it now. So I'm actually leaving now. And I'm like, okay. Like, what is your ETA? He's like, it says I'll be there in, like, 25 minutes. I'm like, okay. Now I'm, like, annoyed, because why wouldn't I be annoyed? But I was also, like, really stupid and had no self-respect. I think if you're familiar with FaceTiming with me, you'll know that during this time period, like, a long time ago, I was, like, really dumb. So I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm just gonna do it for the plot. Just a word of advice, don't ever do anything for the plot. You don't need that plot in your life. In this world, like, you really do write your own story. Like, why would you put, like, a really annoying plot in your story? But anyway, so he finally tells me that he's here, and I start walking out. All I hear is him blasting fucking music, which was kind of annoying because, like, what? Like, I don't know. I like hating people pull up to my house blasting music. Unless it's, like, Britney Spears, like, turn it down. But, so I open the door, and when I open the door, I realize that the music that he's blasting is Juice WRLD. I don't know what it is about, like, the bummy guys that used to try and get with me, but all of them listen to Juice WRLD. So I got in his car, he turns the music down, he's like, yo. And I'm like, hi. Before I can even get another word in to be like, how are you? What's up? He turns the music all the way back up. So I'm like, okay, I guess we're listening to music on this drive. This is when it hits me. We never made a plan on, like, what we were going to do. Like, all he said is, like, do you want to hang out? So I'm like, I'm trying to yell over the music. I'm, like, waving him down to be like, hey, like, because he could not hear me. That's how fucking loud the music was. And he's like, what? What's up? And I'm like, where are we going? And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I guess we didn't really make a plan. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, well, we could go get, like, are you hungry? We could go get food. Obviously, I'm fucking hungry. Because it's dinner time. It's actually, you were supposed to pick me up at 5. It's, like, way past 5 now. So I'm like, yes, I'm hungry. He's like, well, I'm kind of craving, like, a McChicken. Like, do you want to go to McDonald's? I'm like, I, like, let out a sigh. I'm like, okay. So he starts driving to McDonald's. But now, like, for some reason, like, he's, like, speeding. Like, he does not seem like he's in a good mood. And I was, like, thinking, like, did I do something to piss this guy off? Because, like, I don't think there's anything that I could have possibly done to piss him off. But he's also, like, texting somebody aggressively while he's driving. Like, it's getting to the point where, like, I'm, like, holding on to the little, like, handrail thing. He's doing this for, like, half the drive to McDonald's. And then eventually he starts, like, taking his hands off the wheel to text whoever he's texting. So I'm just like, hey, like, do you need me to, like, text for you? Because, like, I wasn't even trying to be weird, like, see who he's texting, but, like, I'm trying to not get into a car accident with this random man that I don't know. And he's like, no, it's fine. It's just, like, my mom's bitching at me. Like, she didn't want me to take the car, and now she's super upset, and I'm just trying to, like, she's just a bitch. Like, I don't know, she's always bitching at me. Another common theme in the bums that talk to me, hating their mothers, but I'm just like, okay, like, do you want to pull over, though? So you can, like, text her? Because, like, you're kind of driving like a maniac. And he's like, oh, like, no, like, we're literally almost at the McDonald's. Like, I'll just text her when I get there. Now he's annoyed with me because I called him out on it. But at this point, I didn't care. I was like, whatever, I'm fucking hungry. Maybe he's just hangry. As you guys know, if you don't know, I was a very delusional person at this time period, too. So, I don't know. I was in La La Land. So we get to the McDonald's, I was like thinking we're going to go through the drive-thru, but he parks and he's like, all right, like, let's go, which was weird because, okay, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I like feel like I never go into fast food restaurants anymore. Like, I just go to the drive-thru, but now I know it's because he didn't want to fucking pay for my food. That's literally why. We went to the McDonald's and he paid for his own food and he like stood behind me and like literally made me pay for my own food, which I was like, okay, like, once again, like, you asked me to hang out, but, okay, like, you're, okay, brokey. You can't even fucking pay for McDonald's. How much was my fucking meal? Like, what, like, $8? So he, like, brings us to a table at the McDonald's, and he sits down and doesn't even say a word to me. Just continues, like, fucking, like, blowing up this person's phone, whoever he's texting. And I'm just like, all right, like, what am I even doing here? I literally said to him, I was like, are you, like, good? Like, do you want to just drive me home? Because you seem, like, super stressed out. And he's like, no, it's just like, I don't know, like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, let me just enjoy my food. Like, he's just like, he's not giving me any information on it. And I'm just like, okay, like, this is weird. I'm texting my friends in, like, my little group chat. And I was like, I'm on a date with this guy and he's literally, like, attacking somebody over the phone. So I finished my food. He finishes his food. And he's like, okay, like, let's go. And I'm like, okay. We get in the car and he's like, do you want to just, like, chill here for a minute and just, like, hang out? I'm sitting there like, bitch, I know you do not think you're hitting tonight. Because that's fucking crazy. How are you going to be on your phone the whole time and still think that you're going to hit? But he just, like, turns up the music and continues going on his phone. So I was mistaken. He didn't even want to hit. He just wanted to argue with whoever he was arguing with. And I'm sitting there on my phone and I'm, like, texting my friends, like, being like, can someone call me? And, like, pretend that they're, like, just got, like, hit by a car or something so I can, like, tell this guy that I need to go home. That is when all of a sudden this, like, other car, like, comes, like, speeding into this McDonald's parking lot. Like, probably going, like, 40 or 50 miles an hour into the McDonald's parking lot. And, like, I mean, you guys know how McDonald's is. It's not like they always have, like, a huge parking lot. So I was like, what was that? This fucking car parks right next to us. And this girl comes out and starts banging on the window. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? You got another fucking bitch in here. You got another bitch in here. Are you fucking kidding me? Now I start to piece together everything. Everything starts to make sense all at this one point. Obviously, I figured out that the person he was aggressively texting the entire time must have been his ex. But now I'm confused, like, how did she know that we were here? And then all of a sudden, she opens the door on my side and she's like, who are you? And I'm like, I don't want to get involved in this. So I explained to her, I'm like, yo, like, I literally don't know this man. Like, I was literally just about to try and go home because, like, he's, like, literally a bum. Like, I'm sorry, like, your ex is a bum. And she's like, I know he's a bum. And I'm like, okay, period. Because, listen, I'm never gonna fight over a man. I was hoping that this girl was gonna be like this, and she was, thank God. Like, she was not trying to, like, whoop my ass, thank God. But she was just, like, asking me for information. He's, like, trying to, like, change the story. He's like, nah, she wanted me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who said that? Whoever said that? Because I never fucking said that. So at this point, now I'm pissed. Because after all the shit that this man just put me through, plus now he's lying on me in front of me, like right in front of my face, I was like, hell fucking no. Hell fucking no. I say to her, I'm like, look, like, I'll literally show you the text. Like, when I tell you, like, this man is actually, like, a bum. Like, I literally was texting my friends, like, trying to leave. So I show her me and his conversation. And I also show her me literally texting my friends for help, talking about this entire experience. And she just starts laughing in his face. And I was like, okay, thank God, she's a bad bitch. She's a bad bitch. She's not going to try and beat my ass. I got very fucking lucky, okay? Because some people will, like, you know, they'll like blame the girl for it and they'll like tweak out. But she was normal, thank God. So I get out of the car, I start talking to her about it. She's giving me the backstory of their whole fucking relationship, and he takes off. He fucking leaves me there in this fucking McDonald's with this random fucking girl. Luckily, she did drive me home after this. So, girl, if you see this, you're a real ass bitch. I literally have not talked to her. I never got her Instagram or anything. Like, I don't know if they ever got back together. God, I hope they didn't. But she was a real ass bitch because she drove me home. But anyways, she basically was telling me that they were together for like a year and a half, and he cheated on her like a bunch, and she found out about it and broke up with him. But then he like convinced her to get back together with him, and then she found out that he tried to cheat on her with a 7th grader. So she broke it off for good and blocked him. And that entire time that he was texting from like texting her, where I thought that he was texting her, blowing up her phone on a fake number, being like, oh, like, I'm with a bad bitch at McDonald's, like, she's badder than you, like, just literally talking all this shit, like, trying to act like I'm all over him, and, like, all sorts of shit. So, long story short, he's a loser, his evil scheme did not work, and she remained a bad bitch in the end, and so did I. But, yeah, that's the story. I've been saving that one because I literally, like, you guys have to understand, like, yes, I have a lot of crazy things that happen to me. I have more crazy things that have happened to me, but I have to spread them out, okay? Like, I don't want more crazy things to happen to me in the future, so I just have to go off of the past. But little self-promo, my new single, The World Is Mine, is coming out January 13th. Check my pinned video, pre-save it in my bio. You know what to do. I stream every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch. And yeah, that's like pretty much it. I hope you have a good day or night or shift or whatever you use our FaceTime to get ready